All right, guys, so we're looking at the mount top position today, and again, we're going to go through it, the framework we've been talking about. So four things to think about in terms of once we get a position and then how to utilise that position. So obtain, retain, finesse, progress. So firstly, we need to obtain the position. So how are we going to get into the mount position? What's our means of getting into mount? Who's got any idea? Passing. So again, I can pass someone's legs. So if I'm playing open guard or a guard position, I pass their legs. I can work all the way straight over the top and get to the mount. What's another way? That's one.
Reversing.
Reversing, yep. So I can be underneath like in a closed guard position. So I do a flower sweep, bang, I'm on the mount. Excellent, that's two. What's a third way?
Takedown.
Takedown from standing, perfect, that's great. And what's a fourth way? There's one other way. What's another classic way you get to the mount?
From the back.
From the back, yeah, from another pin basically. So generally speaking, if I'm in the side control or I go to a knee on belly or whatever, I can progress to the mount. That's it. So four ways to get there. I pass the legs to get there, I progress from a pin to get there, I reverse position to get there, and then I can take someone down to get there. That's great. So once we're there, we've got to be able to retain the position. So what do I need to do to be able to retain the mount? What are my main objectives in terms of the things I need to do? And again, when we've been talking about this, we've been talking about it, I guess, anatomically in terms of how we want to describe it for people who are beginning. So what's the main things I need to do with my opponent to make sure I keep them in the mount?
Keep them belly up.
Keep them belly up, that's it. So again, what happens if they're turning belly down? Do I have the mount anymore? No, what do I have? I have a back position, exactly. And everyone's, in the classic jiu-jitsu mindset, well, that's a good thing. Well, sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's not. Some people turn belly down, they build up, they shake you off, and now you've lost the position. So if I want to keep the mount, I want to keep the person belly up and facing me. That's great. That's one. What else do I need to do? What's another classic way people generally escape the mount? What do they try and do? Bridge, yeah. Bridge, so reverse position, so that's that belly up thing again. So if I'm on top of the mount and then someone bridges me and they end up on top in the closed guard, they're now belly down. So they've gotten out. What's another way we generally get out?
They bring their legs back in.
Bring their legs back in, exactly. So they get their shins in front, so they get a guard back. Okay, so I need to keep their shins behind me. Okay, if they get their, people talk about their knees, but if they get their shins in front of me, then I no longer have the mount position and I've lost it. So that's my next priority. So that's two things, keep them belly up, keep their shins behind me. What else do I need to do? What's another way you can get out of the mount?
Their shoulders.
Their shoulders. Keep their shoulders in front of me, exactly. So again, this is a less popular or less seen one, but again, you see it in the UFC, I've seen it multiple times, I've seen it work in many different areas. So if I'm on top of the mount, we'll demonstrate this in a second, their shoulders are in front of me, then obviously I can maintain it. If they get a shoulder behind my hips and behind my leg, they're no longer in the mount. They are in danger of being triangled, they're in danger of other things, but I'm in danger of losing the position and they get out behind me and then they can take my back. And there's one final thing that I need to avoid if I want to try and retain the mount. What's that?
You've got to stay on top.
Got to stay on top, yep. Keep them belly up. Yep. That's good. Yeah. So there's one other thing though that people will do that can essentially ruin your mount.
We can try and build their elbows in.
Yeah, build all that sort of stuff. That's it. So I'll just say it. The thing is, if they get a 2-on-1 of one of my legs, okay, so whether that's like a quarter guard, whether that's a half guard, whether that's getting both their arms around one of my legs, if they get a 2-on-1 on one of my legs, my mount basically I can't use. Okay, so let's just have a look at that. We'll just demonstrate that. I'll grab Joe and I'll grab, you just came in, Tom. We just get you guys just lying down just to demonstrate this. So again, Joe's on his back. Just come this way a little bit further if you can, please, mate. Yeah, that's good. And Tom's on top. So what does he need to do to be able to maintain the mount and keep it on top? First and foremost, he needs to keep Joe belly up. So if Joe bridges and just goes all the way up and over and goes and exposes his back, if he exposes his back, he's no longer in the mount. So you can say, oh, Tom's got the back, this is bad for him. But if Joe builds up from there and gets height and shakes him off, he's lost the position. Okay, so we need to keep the person on their back, keep them facing belly up. That's one. Number two, need to keep his shins from getting in front of us. So at the moment, Joe's shins are behind his hips. Okay, so if he does a classic bridge and shrimp and he brings his shins in front, good. Whether he does that way, whether he kips, whatever, as soon as his legs get in front, or his shins in particular, we no longer have the mount, so we need to stop him doing that. Third thing we talked about was Joe getting his shoulder behind. So if he actually dives one of his arms in between Tom's legs and gets all the way to get his shoulder behind him, now he no longer has the mount either. Again, there's a danger there, but there's a danger in every position in terms of staying there. If you just stay in the mount and don't get out, there's a danger of getting hit in the face. There's a danger of getting your arms exposed and getting submitted. If you put your arm through and get your shoulder behind, there's still a danger of you running into a triangle over, but there's a great opportunity for you to go and actually escape the position, which is great. So, and the last one is catching a leg. So even if he just goes here and does like an ankle escape and just you go and control his ankle with your, catches the ankle, good. And he holds this position. So even if, pop on your knee there, Tom. Even from here, so this is like a 3/4 mount so this position, what this does is it limits Tom's ability to be able to move up and down in the mount and be able to utilize a full mount. Okay, so that's effectively killed it as well. So they're the 4 things, thank you guys, they're the 4 things that you need to stop to be able to retain the mount long enough to then be able to use it. So we're going to look at that finessing idea, how to open their limbs up. We've been focusing on the hands a whole bunch this month, so we want to keep looking at how we're going to keep the top position long enough that we can then expose their hands, which is going to give us a chance to attack their arms, attack their neck, and then get some submissions. Okay? So what we're going to do to start, we're just going to do a couple of rounds just to get going. First one we're going to do, we're going to look at escaping using first 2 methods, which is going to be going belly down and getting our shoulder behind. And then we'll do some rounds where we add in the last 2 where we can get a 2-on-1 of their leg and get our shins in front as well, so get a guard back. So again, it's going to be a 2-minute flip-flop round. So I'm on top here. My only goal is to keep the mount. Okay, that's it. Joe is only able to get out by rotating belly down. So he can do that 2 ways. He can rotate belly down like this and still have me on top, or he can rotate belly down by bridging and rolling and going all the way over and finishing up on top. Okay, that's his only ways to be able to do that. Or he can get his shoulder behind. Okay, so to get his shoulder behind, he's got to get one of his arms underneath and get his shoulder behind. If he does that, that's the way he can get out. We're only doing 2 of the 4 possible things we just spoke about then. So you reckon it's going to be easy or difficult? It's going to be difficult, okay, but it's also going to give you a chance to experience trying to do a couple of things that you probably haven't done before. So don't stress out too much if you struggle with it. We're going to do 2 minutes flip-flopping. So as soon as one person is out, the other person is going to take them out. If you don't get out, if you don't move in like 30, 40 seconds, switch over. Give the other person an opportunity to have a go at it. Does that make sense? Yeah, let's go get a partner. 3, 2, 1. All you got to do is go belly down. We'll get your shoulder behind. Let's do it. Person underneath, keep them on top.
We can do whatever we want with hands on top.
Yep, do anything you like. Retain the position, that's your whole goal. You got to go belly down, Stuart. Just go belly down, go belly down. You win, good, switch, exchange positions. You get on top now. That's good. Shoulder behind or belly down, that's all you're trying to do, guys. You should be able to spin really easily underneath if the person's giving you space. Person on top, you have to stop them rotating. That's your whole goal. Make it difficult. Nice, Joe. Well done. If someone spins belly down underneath your mount, they're exposing their back. So, but that's not necessarily the worst thing if you understand how to use that position. You can build up onto your knees. You can use that turning belly down to be able to get a half guard position and grab one of their legs. So make sure, I want to see people underneath aggressively just turning to do this. You've got to stop that on top. Okay, that's the whole goal. So people here being in this position and doing a bit of this, your big goal is just get belly down. If you do that, you win. Okay, so they've got to stop you doing that. And as they stop you doing that, you're going to have an opportunity to bridge and get on top. You're going to have an opportunity to get your arm underneath. Okay, so make sure you're really utilizing that rotation spinning that's available to you. That's the whole purpose of this game. Yeah? Give it a go. Let's go, guys. Ready? 3 minutes this time. Okay, that second round was a lot better. So a lot of people were more aggressively spinning and rotating and then able to get belly down. As I said, I don't necessarily want to go and get belly down and lie flat there. But in terms of going belly down, if I'm on my back facing belly up, if I get to here, I'm belly down. Okay, even just here, my belly's facing more down than what it is facing up. So as soon as I get past vertical and I'm looking down this way, this is belly down. Okay, so this is going to give me a chance to catch their leg. It's going to give you a chance to come and get to your knees, stand up, all the different things that you might want to do to try and get out. So really important skill to be able to have. And again, the more you aggressively go for that, and the more you aggressively look at opportunities to get your arm inside their legs and get behind, the more options you have available to you. One quick thing there is just in terms of, can I, actually I'll grab you please, Gordon. This is Gordon who I just was abusing before, but he's dry, so that's good. So if Gordon's on top, if I'm here and I'm wrapping my arms around him like this, can I spin belly down? No, I can't. I can knock him over and go belly down, but so the positioning of my arms is going to be super important in terms of what's going to allow me to do. Okay, if I want to try and get my shoulder behind, I can't do it with my arms wrapped around his body like this. So I need to have my hands close to my body inside to be able to get all the way through here to get my shoulder behind, or to be able to be here to rotate my body through. Okay, so in terms of those couple of escapes that we just did, your hand positioning is super important. Okay, wrapping around is going to limit a lot of what you can do, but again, it doesn't limit it completely because you can still bridge and roll, and you can still build some height to turn over and do things, but just always be wary of what you're doing with your hands. But one thing we're going to look at when we get through this next phase and we have a look at how we're going to attack is the hands are super important as well for the person on top. So when I want to try and attack you, I'm going to try and control your hands, because if I can control your hands, not only can I attack that and attack your hand and your arm and your neck, but it also limits what you can do in terms of your escapes. Okay, that's the big take home. So now we're going to add in those last two. So I'll grab you again, please, Gordon. So again, we just looked at doing everything we can in terms of rotating our body and getting our upper body behind his lower body. But now we're going to think about what we can do with our lower body. If I get here and I just catch his leg. Okay, so this is out. This is no longer the mount. Okay, it's still not a great position, but it's not the end of the world, because now he can't move around and be mobile in his mount. He can't get to a high mount, can't get to an S mount. So if I can start to build my arm inside, go to deep half guard and do a few other different things. Or I can get all the way through, whereas, as we said before, I get my shins all the way in front of him. Okay, so if I can do either of those things now I'm no longer in the mount, and obviously I can start playing guard and doing other things. Okay, so let's add in, we've got four things that we're looking to do now when we're trying to escape from underneath, and that's the person on top who's trying to retain the position has to limit those four things. Don't let them spin belly down. Don't let them get a shoulder behind your hips, behind your leg. Don't let them get a 2-on-1 on your legs, whether that's with my legs or my arms. And don't let them get their shins in front of you. Don't let them get a guard back. Does that make sense? Yeah, so we're going to do again another flip-flop round. Person on top, hold the position. Don't let them escape the mount. That's all you've got to do. Person underneath, you've got 2 extra tools in your toolkit now to be able to try and escape the position. Everyone understand? Yeah, let's go. 3, 2, 1. And go. So now we've retained the position on top. We know what we need to do to stop them from getting out. Okay, I need to keep them belly up, stop them from rotating belly down. I need to make sure that their shoulders stay in front of me and don't get behind me. I need to make sure their shins don't get in front of me. I need to make sure they don't trap one of my legs. If I can do those 4 things on top, then I can play them out. Okay, so what do I need to do there? What's going to be my main goals in terms of, I use the word finessing, which is to win from the mount. Okay, and again, I say obtain, retain, finesse, progress. I use finesse because finesse means to subtly do something. So again, when you're doing jiu-jitsu, jiu-jitsu should be about subtlety. You shouldn't just be using brute force to be able to beat somebody. I want to be able to do things in a way that they basically almost give me what I want. Okay, and if you're good at jiu-jitsu, that's what will happen. So what's your main goal in terms of trying to win the position once you've retained the mount? What are you going to look to try and do? Yes?
Isolate a limb.
Isolate a limb, yeah, so exactly. So what specifically? So again, with when we talk about other positions, we talk about isolating a limb. But when I'm talking about the mount, I want to be even more specific. Okay, so you're right, but what do I want to do in particular?
Get 2-on-1 on that.
Get a 2-on-1? Yeah, that's great. What do I have to do? If I grab you again, please, Joe. So if Joe is on his back here, and I'm on top in the mount, and he's here and he's holding his hands in position. This is a 2-on-1. Is this useful?
Not yet.
Yep. What am I going to get him with here, Joe? Okay, so that's what I'm getting at. So be more specific. This is a useful starting point. What's my goal?
Get his hand to the floor.
Get his hand to the floor. That's right. So get his wrist, get his hand to the floor. If I can get his hand to the floor, well done. Yeah, everyone around, give Ben a round of applause. Well done. He just got a fist bump from Pat there. I think he deserves even more. It's on video as well, man. Well done. Well done. So I can if I get his wrist above his shoulder, basically, this is where he's going to be weak to the point that I can start to take advantage of it. So I want to isolate his wrist above his shoulder, yeah, which is basically getting his hand to the floor. If I get his hand to the floor on this side, this is fantastic. Yep. What's something else I want to do?
Wrap around his head.
Wrap around his head. I can wrap around his head. Again, that's a start, but is that going to, if I just get him and wrap around his head and squeeze real hard, is that going to win? I mean, is he going to submit to that? What do I need to do more specifically? What's that? So take his, what part of his arm? I just put his wrist above his head. Get his elbow above the shoulder. Yeah, exactly. So again, if I get here and I take his elbow all the way up above the shoulder and can control it up here, this is another winning position. That's great. So that's two things. So I can trap his wrist above his shoulder, but his elbow is basically still in line with his shoulder, or I can get his elbow all the way above his shoulder. Now I can attack here as well. What's another? There's two other good things I can do. Correct. Take his wrist. So that basically takes his elbow across his body. Exactly. So to get his elbow across his body, if his hand's over here, it's not going to happen. So I need to take his wrist to the other side and take his elbow across the center. And now I can come, get a gift wrap and start to attack over here as well. So that's great. Exactly. So there's three. There's one other thing I want to do.
Pin his arm with your leg.
What's that?
Pin his arm with your leg.
Well, again, I can do those. I can achieve those three things I just said by using my hands or my legs. Okay, so if he's here and I drive my leg all the way up here, now I can get his arm across here. So that's a different way of achieving the same thing, but that's correct. Yeah. What's the last thing though? I've attacked his arm. What else can I attack?
His head.
His head. Yeah. Do I want to attack his head? I want to attack his head if I'm fighting. But like I said, if I just wrap his head and hold it, that's all well and good. What do I need to do? I've got to be more specific. What do I really want to attack?
His arm and his head together.
His neck. Thank you. Thanks for playing along. Exactly. I need to expose his neck. Okay, so I need to get underneath his jaw where I can choke him. Okay, so whether I put pressure on him here, whether I come and get here and get my hand inside, or whether I come all the way around the back to get here. They're my four ways to win from the mount. Okay, so I get his wrist above his shoulder, I get his elbow above his shoulder, I get his elbow across his body, or I expose his neck. That's good. So there are our four goals. So before we actually look at how we're going to do that, we're going to just feel a couple of those positions with the idea of not only is it a great way that you can win the position from there, because now I can do attack all my submissions, but it also, those positions make it more difficult for the person to get out. Okay, so we're going to look at two of them. Okay, we're going to look at having the hand controlled here. A few of you guys were already doing this when you were rolling, and you can see how much more effective it is in terms of stopping the person underneath from doing the four things they need to do to escape. So we're going to start in this position, and then you're going to keep control. We're going to do a round with that and see if you can feel how it's harder for you to escape and easier for you to control. And then we're going to start with the gift wrap as well. Okay? So actually we'll do 2 rounds, and you can interchange any way you like with that. Okay? So person on top, you're going to start controlling the wrist on one side with your hand around the head, or controlling the wrist on the other side with your hand around the head. That's a gift wrap, or we call that other one a sprinkler. Call it whatever you like. We're going to do a couple of rounds of that, and then we'll look at how we can actually work our way to get into that position. Does that make sense? Did anybody find it easier to get out of that position when you had your arm isolated above your head? Anyone? Did anyone think it was easier to get out of?
Sometimes it's easier to get the legs out.
Yeah, that's it. Like they're locking. That's one of the things we've been talking about in depth with the more advanced guys, is that, someone's got a cross face on me. That's all well and good, but I've basically I know where their arm is, and I know that I can control it and use it to do what I want to do. So it's not wrong, but again, if they're using it properly, the person on top is using that position properly, it should make it much more difficult for you to get out. Okay, so if you can isolate someone's arm above their head, all the escapes we just looked at before, as we said, to rotate belly down, I've got to have my hands in close enough to my body to be able to rotate down. If my hand's stuck up above here, it becomes more difficult to be able to rotate. If I want to try and get my shins in front, I've got to have my hands to press on you to be able to move you to get my shins in front. If my hand's stuck up here, it's going to be difficult. If I want to get one of my shoulders behind your hips to escape, I'm not doing it if my hand's stuck up here. And same thing, I can still move around and use my legs to catch a leg, but my mobility should be restricted, so it should be more difficult to do that as well. So almost everybody found it more difficult to get out with the hand trap, which is what I wanted basically you guys to experience. So that's the goal of the person on top, is not just to hold the position and retain it, but then to try and isolate one of those arms like we talked about by getting a wrist above, elbow above, wrist across, or neck exposed. If I can do that, I can now attack you. It's going to make life more difficult for you to be able to actually get out of the position, but now you're also going to have to deal with the threat of a submission as well. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay, so let's just have a look at a couple of quick ways that we can try and open somebody up to get their hands up above their body, and then we'll let everybody have a play around of trying to do a round of that. Can I go over you, please, Joe? So again, most people will, once we're in the mount, again, we've got different mounts that we can be in. We can be high, we can be low. Again, what I do with my hands is going to determine the best ways to be able to attack here. But I want you guys thinking about what we said at the start. If I want to get an arm here, it's always best to try and use a 2-on-1. If I sit here and try and control both of his hands, this is okay. Again, you'll find there are things that you can do with this to get reactions, which is good. But if I really want to get that hand to the ground, if I just get here and press with one hand, I know there's all the Gordon Ryan stuff for going across here with the cross hand. I've not found that to be as effective as people have suggested, but a 2-on-1, you basically get to incorporate that. So I get to push across here and then reinforce with my other hand. So if you're getting a baseball grip on his wrist here, I can use all my body weight to build up, bring my shoulders forward, keep stiff arms, bring my knees off the ground, then drive it across to get that hand to the mat. Okay, and once you get the hand to the mat and you trap it, you can come and build in from there. That's good. If you resist really hard going this direction, I can drive back in the other direction. Okay, and you can see there, you can also use your legs to build up and get underneath his elbows here to get to the mat. Okay, so they're good options. So those stiff arm options using all your body weight. If I'm down lower, I can also use my forearms. So if I get my forearm across Joe's wrist here and then reinforce it and drive my elbow up towards his ear, sorry mate, that is a very effective way to get his hand to the mat. Again, I can build straight away into a submission here, or I can trap, come back around and control. And then we've also got all of our options getting underneath the elbow and building up as well. Okay, so if I get lower down here and I try and bring my arm underneath, everybody has seen the walking ratchet method, which is really good. The lower you get with that with your shoulder, the more effective it is. But also if I'm here, if Joe gets in pretty tight here and I sort of can't move him up, I can start to use my other hand to attack his head. So I pull his head away, that'll weaken his arm and make it easier to lift up, and then I can drive them together to get that elbow up nice and high as well. Okay, so with your partners here, I want you to have a play of those 3 or 4 different attacks there. That's great, guys. Hopefully everybody made something work there. We only just looked there at the end, obviously, at isolating the arm. We didn't look at isolating the neck. So just like we did at the start when we were escaping, we only did 2 of the 4 potential things you can do. It's more difficult. So just trying to get the hand and the elbow where you want it to is one thing there, but once we can actually go and add in attacking the neck directly as well, it'll open up more opportunities. So a lot of people were there and really pulling their elbows down nice and tight to make it difficult for you to get that wrist up high. But as soon as I do that, your neck is available. Okay, so once I start attacking your neck, your hands will come back up, and then we can start to play the 2 things off each other. So this the final thing. If you have the mount and you just can't make it work, where are you going to want to try and progress to? Okay. Well, again, what would be the progressions if you can't get exactly what you want from there? What do you think you might likely try and do? Take the back. Yeah. Again, that's really the only option. Okay. So in terms of if you look at what I've got over on the board there, once I've got the mount and I've finessed it and got arms up high into position, there's really only 4 things I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try and take the back. I'm going to try and get an upper body submission where I'm submitting using my arms and still maintaining the mount, or I'm going to move all the way up and use my lower body. So I'm going to attack an arm bar with my hips, or I'm going to attack triangles with my hips. Yep, so it's such a dominant position that there's not really many other places that I really want to progress to once I'm there. Okay, that's great. So again, we'll put this video up so you can go back and review it. I've got the stuff over on the wall there. I'm doing that for all the different positions as well. But it's a really nice way, I think, to understand things. You've got to get a position. You've got to keep a position. Again, keeping it is the number one thing. You have to retain it. If I can't retain it, there's no point learning anything else about it. There's no point getting there if you can't retain it. There's no point trying to win from there or progress from there if you can't retain it. But once you are there and you have developed that skill to stop those 4 different things that they're looking to do to get out, now we can start to think about finessing it, getting their arms and their neck in positions where we can attack, and then if we still can't get what we want, progress into a good position from there. That's good. Any final questions from anyone? No, excellent guys, thank you.